All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Why don't you guys give me an audio check, and then we'll get right into the stock market technical analysis, looking for trade ideas, things that are interesting. I've got a couple things that I've been noticing. Obviously, I want to highlight on, so we'll go through that. And we'll just go through your guys' subscriber picks. So just give me an audio check. Let me know how that is sounding. And then we'll get into it. So typically the way this works, and if you can try to keep your, at least the picks, the stock picks you want me to look at, try to keep them to one or two, okay? I try to go, through the entire list that everybody's looking for, but if you're just, bombarding me with a bunch of picks, usually I'll see that and I have to kind of skip you because it's just too many. I want to make sure I have time to get to at least one from everyone, so please do that. Drop me a thumbs up too. I got 7. There's 44 of us here. So 44 of us care about making some money next week, I guess, and we'll let people come in. All right, so I'm going to just get going. We've got, let's see, triple Q. So obviously there's, all right, so here's the thing. There's tech rotation, obviously. I've kind of talked about that a little bit, saying I think that there is rotation from, into tech at least. And that's going to lift the market, I think, in general, because the tech sector is heavily weighted in the S&P 500. So that is one thing we'll take note of. It looks to me like, and I talked about it a couple of videos ago, and how healthcare is starting to kind of roll over, and then there's others too. Like obviously CAT looks like a short. Some of these industrials don't look that strong. So it looks like some of the strong sectors from last year, like energy. I haven't done energy is the one I'm not too interested yet in shorting, but the healthcare sector is looking pretty interesting, and some of these industrials are looking interesting. So there's kind of rotation, it looks like, happening, going out of those into tech. And tech was really sold off quite a bit, so it makes sense that there's some rotation. Does that mean we're starting a brand new bull market? I don't think so, guys. I've been playing with some of the headlines. I just got that TubeBuddy thing, trying to optimize my channel, trying to figure out ways to help the channel grow, and so some of the headlines that you'll see are kind of keywords I'm trying to zero in on. Now, maybe we've started a new bull market. I don't think so yet. I mean, I haven't seen enough in the charts to convince me that we're in a new bull market, and there's no way I would just be convinced after a small little breakout. But you can see on the triple Qs here, obviously the downtrend, any trend line that I draw, we've broken out of. All right, here it is. So if I roll down to the hourly, this was kind of the March last week. Here's the thing that I would like to just make sure it's very clear on. One, this price action that we're seeing is right ahead of the Fed meeting and right ahead of the major tech company earnings next week. So are money managers front running the Fed? Maybe, but if I was in charge of and this is typically the way it works, large institutions aren't going to be taking big gambles with huge amounts of money right ahead of a big market moving event. They're just not going to do that. So typically, this to me, and the price action last week, it did look like short covering, retail trade. It's definitely retail trade. I mean, they're in there. I'm seeing the comments starting to show up. Charts are bullish, go with the charts and this and that. And that is fine. I mean, the charts, the price action was bullish, but I can't say without a doubt that the chart is bullish, somewhat bullish. All right. On the hourly chart, we still have negative divergence. See it right here. And let me zoom in on these indicators just to kind of highlight this point. Here's the RSI. Look, turned down at the end of the week. It kept the negative divergence on the hourly. So as much as they were rallying, we could not negate that negative divergence. It kept it, all right, turned down, and that's confirming that. Here's the PPO starting to turn down. kind of an equal high right there. So that's still negative divergence, starting to turn down. Looks like that's probably going to keep that negative divergence. So on the hourly chart, all right, the shorter time frame, we've got some divergences showing up, which means we're probably going to have some sort of a pullback. Now, if I look at this trend line that it was marching up the last hour of the day, and I did see it, I didn't take any trade on that. I did see the breakdown, but I didn't feel like taking a end of the day Friday trade. It's just not very convincing. So I typically will steer clear of those unless it's really impulsive, and that was just profit taking, it looked like. So I think there's probably some more profit taking that will continue into the Fed next week on Wednesday. And we have negative divergence on the hourly. So for me to say, oh, the charts are bullish. Well, in the shorter time frame, no, they're not. In the shorter time frame, I think we probably pull back down to this trend line. Let me, I got a lot of lines here, but this is the trend line right here. So I think we pull back down to there. And if we do that, if I go to the daily, we'll be back below the 200-day. Okay, so the 200-day is sitting there at 292.50. And if we pull back to the trend line, maybe Monday, could gap down or something, but we'll be back below the 200. So then at that point, can you say the charts are bullish on the longer time frame, the daily chart? Well, yes, we've broken out of this trend line, this downward trend line here. We've broken out of that a little bit, but just barely, by a couple days, right ahead of the Fed. It's just not convincing. I'm not going to take that. So on the daily chart, there's no real divergences on the daily. Okay, I don't see any negative divergences. You see here's your former high right here. That is another thing to take note of too. See the former high right here back in December? Okay, look, couldn't get a daily close above it. We were above it intraday, but they smashed it down towards the end of the day, and we did not get a daily close above it. So that is something to take note of, because you start getting daily closes above that, you're making a new higher high, and then you could maybe say we're starting an uptrend where we have higher highs and higher lows, but we don't have that yet. So I think there's things to take note of on that. I don't have any real negative divergence on the daily, nothing that I can really say. So I don't think there's anything super damaging about this chart. I think we could go higher, maybe a little higher, but I'm still trading this as a bear market rally, okay? And that will, so until we see some, I'll change. My tune will change if I see other things, but as of right now, not enough information to change against the broader trend, which is a bear market, and this looks like a bear market rally. So it would be beautiful if, let's say next week, we kind of trade around, grind around a little bit, and then after the Fed or earnings, we gap down back under this trend. That would be a beautiful bull trap, because you broke out above the 200. Everybody's taking notice of that. And then you're back below. So maybe that happens, maybe not. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq futures. It's always good to line up your futures, because this is what the pros trade. A lot of them. All right, so there's your Nasdaq futures. Same look. You've got the downtrend line. Zooming in, you've got, we're above the 200-day moving average. No negative divergences on the daily. Rolling down to the hourly. Kind of this upward channel we were walking up. I can get rid of this line here. We're walking up this upward channel, and we're just slightly above it, okay? Right ahead of the Fed. No real negative divergences on the hourly. So I don't see anything that's bearish, particular, like not really on this futures chart. Well, there is negative divergence there. I mean, obviously we have that, okay? So I take that back. There is some negative divergence. So never mind. On the hourly, we do have some negative divergence. We probably are going to pull back to this channel. I just don't see this market completely running away ahead of those big moving events. All right. So let's get off this. And you guys let me know if you want me to do any more broad market analysis. I'll go, I can look at the SPY and the small caps. Otherwise, I'll probably just look at some other stuff. We'll probably get into your guys' picks. Okay? Drop me a thumbs up. Commodities are interesting to me. They definitely look... they look like Joe, man. I wish I grabbed that one. I just missed it, and it's just not objective to buy it right now. But let me just, I've been watching it day in and day out, looking for an entry, and there just hasn't been. It's just been gone straight up. But my buy zone, which I've had literally drawn out for quite a while, I even wrote it out, buy zone. And look what it hit perfect on my buy zone. I guess I wasn't paying attention or didn't have an alert set. And it hit that buy zone. I didn't buy, and boom, off to the races it went. Also, big bullish divergence on the daily chart. See that? It was just beautiful setup. So I think there's probably some more here to the upside. I'm just waiting for pullbacks to buy into it. So it's buy the dip on this one. It's up 18, 19%, pretty much straight up. So I don't want to buy it. I want to buy it on pullback, so I'm looking for that. Right now, if I look at the hourly, there's just no divergences. Yeah, just nothing yet. So we're pretty overbought on the hourly, so maybe you can see here the RSI. If I roll out on the hourly, we're getting to the area like this. We were this overbought back here, and we had a pullback of that was about 20%. So we're definitely getting to the overbought area. I don't think we'll have a 20% pullback, but I'm looking for some sort of a pullback. Back to the daily, if we can get a pullback down to this 44, you can see that was former support. Big breakdown candle. Also, look, they gapped it up right there. So a pullback down to there, that's my new buy zone, 44-ish. Probably step in a little early. You don't want to wait for the exact level. Okay, so that's that. And then wheat, we'll get into wheat. That's our first comment. All right, so wheat looks good. I'm definitely interested in going long on wheat. I just haven't had a buy signal. I've been watching it, and I haven't pointed it out to the channel yet. But look, I've got a big negative. I got a big bullish divergence that's been building. Okay. This whole thing is bullish divergence. So you have it. Here's your former low. You make new lows. Momentum is clearly moving up. Both momentum indicators. Even right here on the shorter time frame, you make a new low here. Momentum here is moving up. So bullish momentum while price is drifting lower is bullish divergence. That's our setup. We have a setup. We don't have an actionable trade yet. Bullish falling wedge here, and I'm just waiting for the breakout basically of this wedge here. Start to get the breakout. There's also a level. It's about 777, 778, something like that. I can maybe tighten that up just a little. No, I kind of like that because you got a couple reactions right through here. I don't know. It's somewhere right in here. You got that level, so I think you break out, maybe you take that out. That's our buy signal, okay? And then if we get that, I think it's likely probably off to the all-time highs, or these recent highs at least. Not all at once, though. There will be reactions along the way. There's probably going to be one right here. I like this as a zone of resistance. Okay, right there. 833, and then maybe this reaction high here at $8. Probably mark that out. It's really about there. Looks like a rainbow, 804. Okay, so you got 775 or so. Then you got 804, 33, 200-day moving average. $950, and then probably all-time highs. Okay, there's your levels. And so one way you could do it, you get back down here, you could go along here, stop somewhere below, give it a little room, but yeah, stop, you know, on daily close somewhere below. And then, or, so you could do that maybe with the starting long position. And then if you get the breakout, add to it. Okay, and then if you break above the 775, probably full size position, whatever that is for you, with you know, not your entire portfolio, obviously. And then yeah, there's your resistance zones. So that's the trade plan. BTC, USD. All right. Let's see. We'll just do the futures. Okay, so there's your downtrend. Obviously a breakout. This thing just runs with tech. It's kind of a risk on, you know, just a risk on play. But there, you know, there were your, that's your trend line. Breakout. You had bullish divergence that was really building for quite a while. Decent sized divergence. You have had a rally now. So whether the rally continues or not, that's really the question, because we've got the rally that these divergences were telling us. Let's check this wedge. You know, you kind of have this wedge here. Measured target. Maybe there. I've seen the measured target do it two ways. I've seen it done this way, which would set us at the measured target, and then sometimes I've seen it done this way. So maybe some more upside, or we could stop right here. We're at the 200-day moving average, so there's some resistance just overhead, and then there's this gap to fill right up here, and that's decent resistance. So those would be my two levels probably, and we're in a zone of resistance. So the near-term upside I think is probably limited, but you could obviously get up to 28,970. On the hourly chart, negative divergence has been building, so you probably are going to get a pullback. And let's see if we can find some sort of a trend line to watch. Just have to go with that one. All right, so yeah, I don't know. It looks like a pullback is coming soon, so we'll see. XLV, that's our healthcare. So this is one of the areas I did start taking some positions. I pointed it out, the trade idea. Guys, I can't, it's hard for me to always remember whether I've told you about, you know, what trades I've entered and what trades I haven't. If I put a trade idea out in the member group, then chances are I've probably taken a position on it. I don't always take a position on them, but that's not necessarily because it's a bad trade idea. If, like, let's say I put a tech stock trade idea out, but I'm pretty heavy in a triple Qs trade, I don't need any more tech stocks, you know, in my portfolio for my trade portfolio. So maybe I don't take that trade. But chances are, if I'm putting out some ideas, I like them, and I would take them myself. So the ones I took last week were MRK. I really like that. That was just looked like a good setup. And what was the other one? I'd have to open my trading platform. The others I've got CAT, JPM. Those I'm still sitting on. WMG, but MRK was one that was working. It looked good. I took that one. Took a decent sized position on it. And this is your healthcare. It's drifting lower. Now, if I roll out to the weekly chart, see what we got going on here. This is, I mean, unless my trend line is off, this is going off the 2009 lows. So this is a bull market. Healthcare has not really, it's been in a bull market for a while. Here's COVID, but quick, that's kind of the outlier. I don't know. This trend line maybe is not my favorite. I might need to adjust it just because we've had a couple violations like this one and recovered it. So let's not worry about the weekly for right now. On the daily, you had slight negative divergence showing up right there at that high. We're starting to drift lower. On the hourly, you've got some bullish divergence showing up actually on the hourly. There is some bullish divergence, so we'll see what that. This doesn't look that interesting to me in terms of an actual trade taking at this sector. Because I don't know, this bullish divergence, it's kind of drifting lower. I'd probably be more open to just picking and choosing some spots within this sector. But it's weak. I mean, tech is going up and this is going down. So we'll take the weak sector and maybe look for some of the weakest stocks. This one looked good, MRK. On the daily, you've got, this is what I have going on. Clean negative divergence on the daily. Nice trend line to watch. Big sell signal, talked about that. We also broke this support, which is 108.84. They tried to hold on to it for about a week and then boom, broke right there. And there's your sell signal. More selling on Friday, and I suspect more selling to come. Probably going to get some sort of a little reaction kind of through here. Maybe at the top at that 102.60 area. There's probably going to be a reaction, but I think we're heading down to the 200-day moving average, and that's decent support because that was decent resistance on the daily. So that's what I'd be looking for, is a move down to about 95-ish, 96, somewhere right in there. Maybe we bear flag and then head down. So that's a good trade, I believe. All right, ELF. What is that one? This is a consumer non-durable. So you've got negative divergence on the daily. I see that right there. All right, so we have a short setup. This is very similar to like CAT and all these others. This is what was going on last week, is we have sell signals. This is a very nice trade, to be honest. So whoever pointed this one out, let me go back and look. Jakumar. This is a nice trade setup. It's actually an actionable trade. I would take this trade, to be honest. We'll have to look at the sector, but you've got a daily uptrend line here. Nice daily negative divergence. The only caveat is earnings. That's the one, the one gamble, I guess. But breakdown, that's a nice sell signal. All right, that is what you want to look for. So if you don't know what a sell signal is, that's what you want to look for. Nice impulsive selling as you break a trend line support. That thing was down 8%. Beautiful sell signal. And confirmation, more selling the next day. So on a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10 for a sell signal. All right. Now, and then the next 2 weeks, they rallied it back up for a back test. We probably go, well, and look, you actually did make a divergent high. Let's get down to the hourly. Nope, didn't quite get there. So what I would love to see, I don't know if you're going to get it, maybe you get it on earnings, is a pop up to the trend line. Actually hit the trend line, make a new high, which will be a divergent high, and it will be a back test, and it will be objective to short. You don't have negative divergence on the hourly from what I can tell. So I suspect what we're going to do is probably pull back, and then earnings will come out and they'll pop it up, and it'll go like this. Pop, make a divergent high. On the hourly, you'll have negative divergence as you pop above the highs, hit that back trend, and it will be the perfect entry for a short. Okay, so that's how my brain thinks. That's how I kind of see things in the future. I don't know if it'll play out, but that's how it could play out. And if it does, it would be a perfect setup. If I go to the back to the hourly real quick, another thing to look for, well, they don't really have a trend line here. Nothing that maybe we're going to do something. Nah, never mind. Okay, that's it. Nice setup. I'm going to add this to my short list. Okay, moving on. SMH, which is our semiconductors. All right, let's see here. Guys, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so. It does help the channel. I've started dabbling in some of this Google algorithm things because I honestly don't do any of that. I mean, I literally am like trading. I see setups. I put together a video. I don't really edit the video. I just, talk through what I see and I send it out to YouTube, and I don't do any of the algorithm stuff, trying to get keywords and all that. So I'm trying to mess with that just a little. I don't know, it's kind of fun, but see if I can get any better results. So far, I haven't seen any. So who knows? Okay, let me clean this chart up real quick. SMH, semiconductors, clearly breaking out. Okay, so there's your downtrend line. There's a breakout. It is still a divergent high, and that has not changed. Now, if we keep going up, we'll burn through it, but I suspect we're not going to. But there is, that's a divergent high, and you can see on the RSI, still have that. It's starting to point down. All right, so this is a new divergent high coming into some decent resistance right up here at pretty decent resistance right up there at 247-ish, 246.50. So maybe we get up there. But so what I would look for is, okay, it's kind of a checklist. One, if we rally up to this resistance level, do we start to confirm the daily negative divergence that I'm seeing is there now, but does it start to confirm? Okay, if it starts to confirm, do you get the bearish PPO crossover? Does this go and cross over like that? All right, and then if you see that, that would say, all right, we have negative divergence on the daily, which means we're likely going to get rejected soon. Okay, and then if you hit this resistance level, then what I would do is get down to the hourly, mark out my hourly uptrend line, which I guess is this. Let me look. See if I can make one. Can't quite make one. We're probably going to have to go with... yeah, see, I can't quite make one. So I suspect they're going to do some more testing and maybe grind around for a little bit. But look for an hourly uptrend line. This isn't great, but if you can get one, okay, then you watch that for your sell signal. And if you break the trend, boom, that's your sell signal. An impulsive break, and you can start with an hourly close, and then a daily close obviously helps firm that up. And then that's likely going to be your short entry. So things have to set up. It's not set up yet, but it looks like it could start to set up. So we'll keep an eye on it. Crowdstrike. Yeah, we can look at that. That one could rally. I was watching it. I'm waiting for like a breakout. Maybe we get like a short trade ahead of the Fed, maybe, or after the Fed. But for me, the next buy signal, you have a bullish falling wedge. So you can either buy on a back test of the wedge or on a breakout of resistance. Okay, and right now I've got that resistance at about 107.24. So, and then our levels, 124.50, 136.57, and then the downtrend line, which is the bear market downtrend line. Okay, and the 200-day moving average. So, yeah, I think it's I don't want to short it. Let's put it that way. I'm looking to more go long on it, but just, you know, the chart is telling me to go long, but not yet. I don't have a buy signal. All right. Baba. Oh, not Bob. Okay, let's see here. Baba. Bullish momentum on the daily. Bullish price action. Bullish earnings coming up. But I don't see anything on the daily chart that tells me that we're not bullish. If I look at the hourly, negative divergence on the hourly. So maybe earnings comes out soft, but what I would look for is maybe they're going to move it because earnings comes out on the 1st. So maybe the earnings, they gap it down to this trend line, and that would be a buy zone is how I would that's how I'd approach it. Because on the daily, it's bullish on the daily. The hourly's negative is bearish, so the hourly could gap us down, and it's by the dip on Baba. That's how I would approach it. You've got resistance right up here at 124, you know, right around 124. You break above that, you're probably going to go fill this gap up here at 161.88. So those are my two levels for now, and it's by the dip. And you've got a trend line to watch. So if they after earnings, if they gap it down, and let's say it's just below this trend line, I would watch during that day for the buyers to step in and, you know, bid it back up above the trend line. All right. So I like that one. NOC. Guys, most of you are my members, so I do appreciate the membership. Hopefully you guys are finding some value in there. But, you know, if you haven't joined the membership, feel free to join up. It's $5 a month. You know, I'm in there giving additional trade ideas, market insights. Last week was a little choppy just because we have, you know, I started lightening up on my positions and all that. Even that last short trade I took on Triple Qs was relatively light, so I did lose on it, but it wasn't a huge loss because I'm not going to take a big index position right ahead of those big market moving events next week. All right, NOC, Northrop Grumman. This is a defensive play or aerospace, yeah. See, they're selling that. They're smashing that thing. What's the other one? Lockheed Martin. We'll look at that too. But here's, look, you got this big bearish rising wedge pattern, and they broke it to the upside. But one thing that you have to notice is all that price action was divergence. This looks like a topping pattern to me, a longer term topping pattern, and this is all divergence. So it broke out of this bearish rising wedge to the upside, and this is just a big bull trap is from what I can tell. Now you have to probably roll this out, this trend line here, and we're basically near support. So I don't, you know, you're at support here. You're probably going to get, they're going to try to hold that, I would think, at least a little bit. And did earnings come out? Is that what caused this big drop? Yeah. See, it was a big surprise in earnings, and yet it came down. So you break this trend line, you've got a bear trap. And then down here, you obviously break down here, and this thing's going into a bear market, likely going to start making, you know, it's going to go into a longer term bear market. This hasn't really gone into a bear market. You know, tech has been fully entrenched in a bear market all of 2021, while this thing, you know, continued to really march onward and upward. From what I can tell, this looks like it's about to enter a bear market. We don't have sell signals yet, but it definitely looks like it's about to. You've got a nice long, nice potential bull trap. So it's something to look at. And then Lockheed, which is what, 8L, it's like LMT or something. Yeah, LMT. Oh, I skipped one. Sorry, I'll get to that. XLRE. Yeah, I can't do all those, but I'll do Netflix. I know someone wanted that one. Sorry, you know, I have to go through the list. It does take a second to give you guys the analysis. So here's Lockheed Martin. We have negative divergence on the daily here, and there it is on the RSI. Yeah, I don't really see a trend line there I can make. That's about as good as I can do, which that's pretty decent. Support, support, support. So there's your bull trend in Lockheed Martin. We have a divergent high right here. And you know, they're selling this thing down too. Looks like it's bear flagging, honestly. I suspect we continue lower. If I had to guess which way this one goes, it would be down to this trend line all the way down here. But I can't really make a trend line anything else, so I don't know. Below the 200 is bearish. You could maybe get down to the hourly. I don't see negative divergence on the hourly, but maybe if we're gonna bear flag, you could maybe watch. Well, yeah, we might have already broken it, but something like that. Look for continuation to the downside. That's Lockheed Martin. Everyone says the trend is broken. Well, you know, here's the thing. It is technically broken. I mean, the bear trend is technically broken. Okay, but we just broke trend right ahead of the Fed and right ahead of the earnings. So it's suspect. All right, we clear those out of the way and we start building on that. Okay, we'll change our tune, but that's just tech. While healthcare looks like it's starting to sell off, so you know. Dollar. Well, the dollar's doing the same thing, which is, you know, dollar futures are diverging with bullish divergence, and that's one thing I'm telling you. If it looks to me like the dollar's about to rally, so we don't have a buy signal yet, but it definitely looks like the dollar's about to rally soon, and that would be on the next leg lower, a big sell-off in the market. So whether that takes place, we'll see. All right, Nat Gas. Ooh, the Widowmaker. This one's tricky, so I have been looking at it. I'm looking for a trade here, but I don't see it yet. Let me go to the... Oh, not this one. So there's definitely some... I have to almost get rid of this little trend line right here. I think we're definitely in the range of support. I mean, we've got, this is kind of former resistant. There's definitely reactions going on here, and we're right there. So from my perspective, the downside is pretty limited. I just don't see enough to go long yet. If I look at the daily, there's no divergence. You know, it's just downward momentum. The RSI has slight divergence, The PPO does not. So mixed on that one. This one moves so fast, I prefer to just wait for the hourly. Now on the hourly, you can see we are starting to build some bullish divergence. Okay, it's starting to show up here. So these are divergent lows in this area. Nope, don't like that one. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting a trend line. Let me look at UNG. It's another one. Oh yeah, I was looking at this one. So this looks decent. Bullish falling wedge. Bullish divergence on the hourly. No breakout or buy signal. So I would just look at that. You know, this is an hourly chart. You just mark it out. This goes back to mid-December. And we'll look for that breakout buy signal. You know, there's a little level of resistance, about 1020, but we start taking this stuff out, and that would be maybe my buy signal. I don't see it yet. So I'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you guys know. Again, this one, whatever position I take, will always be a much smaller size position because this thing just goes straight up or straight down. You can see, you know, I mean, it just plunged here 50-60%, just straight down. So it doesn't make sense to have a huge position on this. You'll get, because if you're wrong, it can wipe you out. This is one of those ones, if you get too heavy, yeah, you can make a lot of money, but you can also blow up your account. And so I never want to risk blowing up my account on a single trade. That's just gambling. That's amateur stuff. All right, so that's nat gas. Okay. I missed a bunch after SMH, did I? Sorry, guys. I'm just kind of scanning through here, trying to find, you know, and I can't just go through like 5 picks from one person, so. Penny stocks. Did I cover a penny stock? I don't know. I mean, this is not really a penny stock. Nvidia. Oh, actually, let me look at some of these other ones. I want to make sure I'm not skipping any. Okay. What's UMC? So you had a divergent low. That's your divergence. You rallied already. You now have negative divergence. All right, so it's probably going lower. I don't know when, but because there's probably not a sell signal, but maybe market trend line. I can't call that a trend line because I don't, I've got a cluster. I guess we could probably call that, but so I suspect you're going to, get down here and then eventually you'll break and that would be your sell signal. But I would say it's probably going lower with those divergences, as long as those divergences remain. Okay. And then just mark out your levels of support. Nvidia, and then I'll do Netflix. I did cover the SMH, so that's semis. So Nvidia's at resistance right here, 209. I've got it all ticked out, lots of reactions there. So we're basically at resistance. We're not quite there, but we could go a little higher. We got very close. We got basically within 1% of that resistance. So we're at resistance. We do, yeah, we'll see how Monday plays out. I mean, if it pulls back, you'd keep that divergence. Otherwise, maybe you burn through it. And the RSI, don't really have the negative divergence on the daily there. On the hourly, Negative divergence is just showing up on the hourly. So we'll see if that confirms. What I would wait for, you want to see the PPO crossover and just confirm that. Okay. This is likely not going to go anywhere until after the Fed and the tech earnings, but maybe an uptrend line here. So you're probably going to trade within this until we get some earnings out of the way, and then we'll have to reevaluate it. Netflix. I don't think I covered this one. All right, so you're at, well, you're slightly above that resistance level. You've got a gap way up here to fill. So, yeah, we could run up there. There's another level of resistance, about 389. Negative divergence on the daily or daily PPO. Not really on the RSI. And it's not confirmed on the PPO. So, need to see that confirm. Just starting to show some negative divergence on the hourly. So this is, again, we're just going to group this stuff into tech, okay? And it, you know, they all look the same mostly. So we'll see. I think there maybe could be a little more upside, and then maybe we'll pull back, but maybe a little more upside. I don't see enough here to say jump, you know, to short tech. So I don't want to short tech right now. All right, scanning down, covered a lot of these. All right, Airbnb. This is kind of tech as well. Huh, interesting. Let me look here. At resistance, this looks like a decent short. Let me double check it, but there's your downtrend line on Airbnb. All right. So look, see this rally right here? You see these rallies either at the start of a bull market or bear market rally. Okay. So are we starting a brand new bull market? If you're in that camp, then maybe that's what this is, and you know, you can position for that. I'm going to go with bear market rally because of, there's lots of things, and this is still in a downtrend. It used a lot of energy to rally right up into that major downtrend resistance. It's pretty objective to short there, I would say. I mean, look, I don't own any of this, but do I want to go long here? I don't want to go long here. I want to go long maybe on the breakout down here. Up here, I want to go short. If I look at the hourly, it's pretty strong momentum. So I don't see anything on the hourly yet. I don't see negative divergence. So I suspect we're going to grind around up here and build some negative divergence, which means you'll come down, you'll pop, you'll make new highs, you'll come down, maybe you pop. Maybe there's only one divergent high. I suspect we get some sort of little high where it kind of pops, maybe pop over this trend line just a little bit, build that negative divergence, and then we'll look for a sell signal, which would be some sort of a break of trend. Yeah, I can't really make that, but so we'll have to establish a trend line. You know what would probably happen, or what could be a way to trade this? Take this trend line, mark it out. Okay. If you pop above it and you start building negative divergence, a break back below the trend line would be your sell signal. Okay, so you kind of, maybe you do this and you grind around, you build that divergence. So it'll start looking like that, you know. And then you break back below the trend line and it would be a bull trap. So that's what I'd look for. That's what it looks like it's going to be. But I mean, we need to see those things set up. So this one has a ways to go. I'm going to throw this up on my short list, though. It's not bad. I don't want to short it yet, but all right, let's see here. BNTX. I'm going to go for another 10 minutes and then I'm going to wrap up, guys. So hopefully I'm getting to your picks. If I haven't, sorry, you know, but I'm going to go for 10 minutes and just continue going down the list. So on the daily, you're starting to build negative. You've got negative divergence. This was divergent high here. You're breaking down, obviously. Look at the hourly. Some bullish divergence on the hourly. So maybe we're going to make another, you know, little, you know. I wouldn't short it. You know, I'd say it's more of a long, if anything. But I wouldn't go long this either. That looks okay. Kind of drifting sideways. I'm kind of mixed on this one, to be honest. I mean, look, it's kind of dead money. You know, it's range bound. I mean, look, you've gone nowhere. I mean, why even be involved in that? It's range bound. So, yeah, you break the ranges. Maybe there's something there, but until then, it's right in the middle of the range. I don't see anything. All right, let's see here. PLTR. So that's tech. Here's one thing I want to point out, and I noticed it last week. I didn't talk about it on the channel yet or in the video, but I think we're coming to the end of this bear market rally, and here's the reason why. Now, again, I think there's maybe a little more upside in tech. Could be a little more upside in tech. Healthcare looks like it's starting to soften. XLV, which is healthcare, is the second largest weighting in the S&P 500. So if that starts to drag, that's going to mean that the market, if tech's rallying a little more and XLV is actually selling off, the market will continue to it's going to like grind higher, maybe chop sideways. It's not going to surge higher. So if that happens, that's that. But here's one thing. GME. Remember last time how I said that when we start seeing these super crap stocks rally, that's probably going to mark the end of the bear market rally. That was the last bear market rally that we caught. And I said, you know, large cap will start it, which is like what we saw. And then I said, watch when the crappy stocks like GameStop and all that, when they start to rally, that's the hot money. That's the speculative money. That's the chase, you know, that's the chasers, and they're, you know, so they're getting emboldened. And this thing was up 15% on Friday. So, yeah, I think we're coming close to the end. It could be a little more, but to me, I think we're coming close to the end of this. Look, don't expect GameStop to just launch off to these highs and all that, because it's just not going to happen. Not with the Fed, and the Fed will get aggressive. So I think we're coming close to the end, and this is one of my tells. All right, PLTR. This is tech. Breakout of the downtrend line. A lot of these look exactly like this. So there could be something here. Maybe there's some legs where these ones that have really been smashed pretty hard have some sort of a bear market rally or something. I mean, they all definitely look like they're breaking out. That's a breakout, all right? And that's a breakout with bullish divergence. See that divergent low right there that they stepped right in and bought. So, yeah, it's bullish. I can't short this thing. If anything, I'd want to look long, okay? And that's very similar to like Crowdstrike and some of these others. They look bullish. The chart is set up bullish. I got to clear these. I got to clear the Fed and the tech earnings, and then we'll see. But because a breakout right ahead of that, that's suspect to me. But looks bullish. All right, just a few more, and then I'm going to wrap up. All right, let's see here. What do we got for the last ones? Energy. Does it? ENPH? Let me look. Someone says energy looks like healthcare. Well, this thing's already sold off. I'd be more interested in buying this thing. But let's see here. So there's your negative divergence on the daily. All right, and you had a bearish rising wedge. You broke and down she went. And look at my levels. I don't know when the last time I analyzed this, but they're, there they are. So I'd be looking to buy it actually down here. We get down here, you got earnings coming out. So maybe if they're going to gap this, down here is a buy to me. That's support. Going down to the hourly, starting to build some bullish divergence. It's not well defined yet, but it's there. So yeah, I'd be looking to buy this thing on, especially if it can dip down to this trend line, which would be another, depends on when it gets there, but maybe 10, 11% lower. So yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a direction, you want to short up here when you just start to break. Down here, I'm more interested in buying. Not yet, though. All right. Snap. It's a tech, so it's going to be, bullish divergence. Probably going to get to that 200, I would think. Maybe even above. You got gaps to watch, so all I would say is just watch these gaps. If this thing's going to rally, that would be my final target right there, 2103. Yeah. And that's a nice strong rally if it's going to do that. That's just 80%, 90%. So you've got a confluence of resistance, it looks like. I'm going to get rid of that one. Well, no, I'm going to keep that one. I think you've got resistance here and kind of here, and you've got the 200 days. So to me, it looks like zone of resistance is going to show up right in here. You need to clear that. And if you clear that, you're probably going to go fill this gap. Okay? So look for some sort of a buy signal clearing this, and then that would be the gap fill. Other than that, I don't see much else going on. So, what's it look like when we get up here, if it gets up here? All right, let's see here. Just a couple more. Why don't I cover sectors? I do cover sectors. And occasionally I'll put out a video where I just go through different, all of the sectors, XLI, I mean, we can look at that. That one's interesting looking. See, I like this XLI as a short trade because, well, let's get to the weekly. So look, this thing hasn't really got the message that we're in a bear market, and it's just been rallying. We're just off the all-time highs. I mean, the all-time highs are right there. We're only 5-6% off that. So if I roll down to the daily, I've got this downtrend line, and this price action right here is all divergent highs. Okay, see the negative divergence? So I think this is going to end up being a bull trap. But in order to confirm the bull trap, I need to see a break back below this trend line and back below the 200-day moving average. So it's got some work to do, but that's what I'm looking for on the sector. All right, just a couple more, and then I'm gonna do it's. We're at an hour, so I'll do 2 more, and then that's it, guys. All right, so no more requests. Uranium. We can look at uranium. I know that's kind of a pump sector. I see it all over YouTube. It's the energy thing there, but it's all fundamental based, not necessarily technically based. So I think you've got a downtrend line to watch, kind of like that. You're building bullish divergence. That was a divergent low here. That was your last divergent low, was right here. For me, like, I just wouldn't be interested until I probably broke out of the 200 and this trend line. Otherwise, I'm just not really interested. It's a penny stock as well, guys. So we'll move on from that. FSLR, obviously I've covered that for a while. This one still seems like a short to me, but I'm not. Look, I can't. I have to look to the short side on this. Negative divergence. It's a massive negative divergence, okay? And it remains. Every single time we make a new high, it's just continuing to build. It's just an extension of the divergence. So big negative divergence on the daily. Uptrend line right here. This is the channel that I've got right now. I've kind of, this is what I'm going off of. We've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you break the channel, and you probably feel this gap down here at 70. 77, 75. Just as simple as that, basically. So until I see that, then, I'm not going to jump back into it until I see that, basically. So for me, and we're right in the middle, so no trade here, but we break the channel. I think we fill this gap. And yeah, you'll have probably a reaction at this first little drop here. I've got it kind of marked out. But yeah, there's some support right in this area. So you probably, 145-ish. And then you got some support down here. I'll get rid of this one. I like this one. You got some support down here at about 120. And below that, you don't really have much support. We'll just get rid of that. I think it's just, So I like it as a trade setup to the short side. I just don't have actionable trade yet. We took a couple shots on it. Didn't work out. All right, I'm gonna do one more, guys, and then I have to get going. Oh, that is the thing. Also, we did have that spiky glitch last week. I own some Numa in one of my trading accounts, and I looked at it I was like, what? This is weird, because like this one was up like 8%, and the rest of the miners were just pretty much flat. And I was like, is there news or what? They didn't have earnings? There was some glitch that happened last week where the market's like opened really high, and they fixed it within minutes, but we got these weird prints, so that we have to almost throw this candle out, just negate it, because it was like a glitch, and it happened across a lot of different stocks. So if you're seeing some sort of weird spiky candle on the 24th, that's probably what it was in your chart. All right, let's see here. You were down 50K on your account when that happened. Yeah, I was up, but it was, I was like, what? Oh man, did those glitches run stops? I guess, was that a question? I don't typically set hard stops, because I'm more active, so I'm able to just exit positions very quickly. So I don't typically just kind of set something and forget it unless I walk away or like I go on vacation or something. Then maybe I'll set a stop then. But yeah, it was really strange, and I don't know what was going on there, whether it was some sort of market manipulation, who knows. All right, I'm going to wrap up, and I think that's probably enough, guys. We'll get going on our weekend. So thanks for joining on, and I will catch you guys on Monday. Take care.